Okay, so in some regards, your body is actually working more while you're sleeping. So it is pretty necessary to get 7 to 9 hours of sleep every night. It helps your endocrine system create more growth hormone, while a sleep deficiency leads to stress and exacerbates any sort of currently existing physical or mental conditions. If you're beginning to change around your schedule for a healthier life, sleep should absolutely be budgeted first. Ideal sleeping conditions are completely interrupted and in total darkness. So, like no LEDs in your room, and a blackout curtain if there's a window in the room. Phone off, comfy mattress, worry free. And napping at some point in the day is a good way to make up for any lost hours while sleeping. Sleeping is not something really hard for me to sell. Everyone likes to sleep, so that's always pretty easy to encourage upon people. Conditioning isn't exactly what people typically think it is. Most usually think of it as the actual exercising, but on a more basic level, it includes things like taking in sunlight, breathing, stretches, massage. Sunlight is an excellent source of vitamin D. It has an anti cancer effect in limited exposure. And we also use less of our diaphragm. No, I'm sorry, I'm getting ahead. And increased blue light levels are linked to improving depression. As far as breathing, we use less of our diaphragm to inhale as we age. But if you practice breathing deeply and slowly for a few minutes a day, that habit could become unconscious. Stretching is a little bit more in depth. It comes in three forms: static, dynamic, and active. Static is kind of like the sit and reach that they teach you in gym class, but more recently, some research is showing that it's similar to stretching an elastic band, and it loses its elasticity over time. And then dynamic stretching is kind of like windmills or pole squats, torso twists, like neck rotations. So where you're kind of moving, but not like in a violent manner. And then active stretching is like a more violent form of, or I don't want to use that word, but a more intense form of stretching, like a kicker in an NFL game, like warming up by like kicking, like just swinging his leg up in the air, or it's a more intense warm up. So some athletes like it. There's nothing that shows that it's more effective than dynamic stretching, but at the same time, it does increase the chance of injury. You could hurt yourself doing a stretch like that. So I would say stick with dynamic stretching in my personal opinion. And massage, what you want is like it's called a myofascial massage, and it's just like a deep, slow massage that keeps your blood flowing, gets any knots out of your muscles. You could do like a tennis ball under your feet or like a lacrosse ball under your foot, and then with this, you want to kind of dig deep and tolerate as much pain as you can, and over time, it'll feel good. And foam rollers serve the same function as for stretching, but a whole body thing. So that brings up the question: does exercise have to be miserable? I mean, I could personally remember back when I was like a kid, and you chase friends in a game of tag, or you rode a bike because it was fun. It wasn't like this loathsome thing to be avoided. And where did it take that sour left turn? I don't really know. But when it's fun, you want to be doing it. If you don't want to stop, then when your body starts begging you to stop, it's out of exhaustion and not apathy. And that's why it's really essential that you want to be exercising. I'm talking about having fun. So like no matter what your current shape, gender, age, anything, it's always enjoyable to take on new challenges at your own pace. And life isn't so serious that you have to you know care about what anyone else is thinking of how you act. So that being said, the poetry of motion can be divided into three areas, which is general movement, interval exercise, and resistance training. General movement is your like everyday activity, and that's like walking to your car, taking a shower, walking up a flight of stairs. Whereas interval exercise is usually about 10 to 15 minutes of your day, going as hard as you can, broken up by periods of lower intensity to recover. So, like sprinting, walking a little bit, sprinting, walking a little bit. That's an example of interval training. That's like the cardiovascular aspect of it. Then resistance training is typically 15 to 20 minutes every other day, and that's lift things up and put them down. Pretty simple. And just a quick note here, jogging doesn't melt fat the way that you might expect it to. What you're really looking for in a cardiovascular exercise is intensity, and the steadiness of jogging allows your body to adapt pretty quickly. So it's better to all out sprint, rest, and repeat for 10 to 15 minutes than it would be to jog at a steady pace for like 30 minutes. If you enjoy jogging, though, it definitely counts towards general movement, but I wouldn't consider it part of your like workout time. On the flip side of not working out intensely enough, there's overtraining, but it's mostly a myth. There's maybe cases of it in super elite athletes, but not your average fitness hobbyist. And with all that being said, I'm going to continue in the next video.